Amma ba'd, my dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam. Today's khutbah topic, the title of the khutbah, there is bigger threat than Islamophobia. My brothers and my sisters, to begin with my khutbah, I will begin with the verse, and before reciting this verse, I will share the story of the Sahaba and his friends, the other Sahaba, they were with him, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed a verse on them in a battle on the day of Uhud. Anas ibn al-Nadr, a great Sahabi, one of the Sahaba, he missed the battle of Badr, the first battle, a great battle. And those Sahaba have attended it, they got a great reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has missed it for some circumstance. And he has made a promise that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make me witness another battle with the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, I will do what I can do to make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pleased with me. In the battle of Uhud, he did something amazing. He was in the front lines and going in between the lines of the enemies. And the Sahaba next to him, they used to him, "Oh Anas, stop what you are doing. You are killing yourself." He said, "I'm smelling the smell of Jannah over there." He went through it. After that, the Sahaba could not recognize his body because of the amount of, his body wasn't look the same, or like he has a lot of injuries inside in his body. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed a verse in the Quran we recite till this day, and it will be recited till the day of judgment. مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ رِجَالٌ صَدَقُوا مَا عَاهَدُوا اللَّهَ عَلَيْهِ فَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ قَضَى نَحْبَهُ وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَنْتَظِرُ وَمَا بَدَّلُوا تَبْدِيلًا. Among the believers are men true to what they promise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Among them is he who has fulfilled his promise, and among them he who awaits his chance. And وَمَا بَدَّلُوا تَبْدِيلًا. This is the key for my khutbah. And they did not change in the least. They haven't compromised on their deen. They haven't changed their deen. They stick to the teaching of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the words of the Quran, and the teaching of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. قال قتادة رحمه الله, writing about this verse, قال ما شكوا وما ترددوا في دينهم ولا استبدلوا به غيره. They did not doubt nor hesitant in religion, in their deen, nor they replaced it for anything else. No compromising on the deen. My brothers and my sisters in Islam, As-Sahaba radwanullah alayhim, the way we describe their life and the way we describe their characteristics and the way we describe them when they are asking Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam about their future concerns, they used to ask Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam about what is wrong or what is evil gonna come in the future, for the sake of them avoiding it, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect them from it and do all sort of preparation for them to stop themselves from falling these evils. And the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam advising them in that, he used to say to them, stick always with the jama'ah of the Muslimin and do not make your own branch. Do not change your deen. Do not compromise in your deen. Do not make your deen as a product. You sell it whenever you want and you get it back whenever you want. If you sit with those, they are not agreeing with your deen, you compromise in your deen. If you sit with someone, he has an issue with something in our deen, you say that's okay, it's not, we can compromise on this and compromise on that, and we keep going into that until we lose our deen, my brothers and my sisters in Islam. This is the key of my khutbah. We are greater threat to our own souls than Islamophobia is. This is when pressure pushes us to change our stances, having forgotten وَمَا بَدَّلُوا تَبْدِيلًا, and they did not change in the least. They haven't compromised on their deen. And if I want to give some example in this dunya, I will say, look at the past. At some certain time in Europe or some countries, they used to humiliate Africans, used to say bad things about them, and it used to be a fashion at some certain time. And you are aware of that, my brothers and my sisters. They used to say, if someone, he doesn't insult a black person, he's a weak person. It's become a fashion at that time. Some of them, they stood up at that time and they were against it. They were looking bad in front of the society because they are standing along lines with the black people. But those people, after years, at this time, they are the heroes because they haven't compromised on their principles. Similar story with the Jewish in Europe at a certain time. They used to be insulted, humiliated. They weren't accepted in that society. Those people stood up and they have the right to practice their faith. After some time, those people, they are the heroes. Because now the society has changed. And here in our country, at maybe 10 years before, some things used to be not accepted. Now it's accepted. And those today, they are standing with their stands. They are not compromising on their stands. 10 years later, 20 years later, they will be the heroes of this time. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, when He described the Sahaba, وَمَا بَدَّلُوا تَبْدِيلًا. They haven't compromised in their deen. They haven't changed according to the wind. If we are sitting with the disbelievers, وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قَالُوا آمَنَّا. If we are sitting with the believers, we are among them. وَإِذَا خَلَوْا إِلَى شَيَاطِينِهِمْ قَالُوا إِنَّا مَعَكُمْ. And if they are with the shayateen, with the people following the shaitanic methods, we are with you. We are aligned with you. Brothers and my sisters, imagine if every time you are made to feel uncomfortable about an Islamic value because of some reasons, you cut off the element of Islam or one of the elements of Islam. What will remain of your religion in Allah's eyes? Nothing if you are celebrated by the masses. My brothers and my sisters, and this is we say it and teach it to our kids. You don't have to compromise. No one is pushing you to compromise, and no one is asking you to compromise, and you don't have to compromise. We are saying to our sisters, your hijab is your identity. Your hijab is your belief. You don't have to take it off because of what others they are saying about you, that I don't have to wear my hijab. We say to our brothers, when you stand and pray in your workplace, and some of us, unfortunately, we don't stand and pray because we are concerning about what others will say about us. There's no one is asking you to compromise. If we are being in a position, we feel there's some sort of pressure, direct or indirect pressure on us to compromise about something, you don't have to compromise. This is the true test that you are in. Every one of us sitting here at his workplace or the society he's in or the community he was working with, you will come a time, you will be in that position, you will face direct or indirect pressure to compromise. وَمَا بَدَّلُوا تَبْدِيلًا. Remember this verse, you don't have to compromise. The Sahaba, Allah described them and Allah granted them Jannah for this quality. They haven't compromised in their deen. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us al-thabat, steadfastness in our deen. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Below are a few particular or practical suggestions moving forward, my brothers and my sisters. 3 advices, I've summarized them, trying to move forward or how we can deal or what sort of understanding we need to have to deal with this, the verse, with the meaning of the verse, وَمَا بَدَّلُوا تَبْدِيلًا. Number one, realize that the potential of losing faith is not beyond you. We all, that person, we should have the concern that we may lose our faith. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَلَوْلَا أَن ثَبَّتْنَاكَ لَقَدْ كِدْتَ تَرْكَنُ إِلَيْهِمْ شَيْئًا قَلِيلًا. And had we not strengthened you, you would have almost inclined to them a little. Even to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam advised Ali at one of the incidents. He said to him, قُلِ اللَّهُمَّ إِنِّي أَسْأَلُكَ الْهُدَى وَالسَّدَادِ. He said, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you guidance, huda, and sadad, steadfastness, strengthen you iman, and give you tawfiq to stand firm on the teaching of the Quran and the Sunnah. This is number one, my brothers and my sisters. Number two, from number one, always make the dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you istiqamah. Number two, work under supervision. My brothers and my sisters, all of us sitting here, at your workplace, in your business, nothing is stopping us from studying our deen to understand what we can do and when and how, because you have studied your deen properly. And you don't have to compromise in your deen because you know what is the boundary, what is the hudud of your deen. Without knowing, you may fall in this problem at some stages, at your work, with your friends, with your family, with others you are in contact with every time. Don't work alone. Work with the team. There's no pressure on us to make our statements from our own selves. And there is no pressure for us to stand up and say a statement in behalf of the whole Muslim Ummah, saying this is our deen. It is not your deen. It is the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you are in a position, you want to talk about the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make sure you are following the jama'ah of the Muslimin. You are not making your own statements. My brothers and my sisters, especially those, they are working in trades. They have potential to work in politics, mainly in this particular field. And they are always in the position because of voters, because of this, because of that, because of a line of some parties. Make sure you are work with the jama'ah, because if you are alone, you will be tackled easily. So my brothers and my sisters, before you make your stand, make sure you are aligned with the jama'ah. That's why I personally supporting the initiatives of some organization like ANIC, the Australian National Imams Council. It is a body gathering all of us, despite all the small issues about fiqh, wiping in the socks, praying Eid at that day or this day, but there is a bigger issue than all of that. If there is a threat or is an attack towards the whole Muslim, at least we have a jama'ah of the Muslimin making one decision, making one statement, including all of us, and we all supporting it, and we have one stand to stand against any calamity towards the Muslim community. Thirdly, your job is not to rewrite the rules, is not to make a new deen, is not to write new verses in the Quran, is not to make a new hadith. Your job is to be a messenger, to say what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said and what the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, and how the Sahaba applied the deen or the understanding of what the Nabi said and what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about the story in Surah Yasin, قال وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين. A man came from all the way from the end of the city. He came and he says, "O people, follow the messengers. Don't follow me. Don't follow my teaching. Follow the messengers of Allah. Follow the teaching of the message and the teaching of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala." Remember, my brothers, and I'll end my khutbah with this hadith. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says in the hadith, لَعَنَ اللَّهُ مَنْ غَيَّرَ مَنَارَ الْأَرْضِ. Oh Allah, curse those, they change the boundaries of lands. if you and your neighbor, you have a boundaries in between two lands, if you change it a bit, 5 centimeters because of some reason, and Nabi said, oh Allah, curse that man, the one he changed the boundary of the lands. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cursing the one changing the boundary of the lands, what about the one will change the boundary of our deen? Think about it that way. This is the hudud of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the boundary of our deen, not me, not you, the one we have made it. Is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed it in the Quran, and it is clearly written, and we have to only follow it the way it is being revealed. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us istiqamah and tawfiq. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen.